Good evening and welcome to Championship Live for our second Championship game of the day and the big one. It's second against third as Burnley take on Sheffield United, knowing that if Burnley win, the top two are promoted. A draw would promote the top side, Leeds, and a Sheffield United win would certainly leave it wide open for the final two games of the season. This is a clash of all clashes for this championship season. Who will prevail? Who will come out on top? And if it's the home side, whose defence is as rigid as anything, they will be heading back, along with Leeds, to the top table. But after their win on Good Friday, ending their three-game losing streak, Sheffield United are here and are ready to topple the 11 that will walk out with that badge on their shirt to try and claim a promotion place. Sheffield United know they have a tough job on their hands if they're going to crawl their way to automatic promotion. They start the day a good 5 points adrift. A win would put them back within 2 of Burnley and would deny promotion for either of the top 2 today. Their job is simple, and so is Burnley's. Winning you're in is that simple. But it is never simple when it comes to promotion. There you go, that's a quick look at what it means. And now I'll have a look and see what this game means for these two. Well, Burnley have won the last 4 meetings between the sides in the Championship and in the Premier League. And in their 5 previous meetings in the Championship at Turf Moor, Sheffield United have never claimed a point. Won none, drawn none, lost 5. Sheffield United have lost their last 2 away league games after winning 6 in a row prior. That was away at Oxford and away at Plymouth. They lost their last 2. Burnley are the only Championship side yet to lose at home this season in 21 games, 12 wins and 9 draws. And Burnley would, as I said, confirm promotion to the Premier League with a win this evening, and they would also promote Leeds, who won earlier this afternoon. That's what it means. This is the way Easter Monday's gone in the Championship. A quick little look to that for you before we bring you the 2 teams here at Turf Moor. Starting with the home side, James Trafford starts in goal. Connor Roberts, CJ Egan-Riley, Maxime Esteve and Lucas Perez are the defenders. Josh Cullen and Josh Brownhill are the midfielders for Burnley, with Brownhill the captain. Hannibal Mabry in the 10, Marcus Edwards on the right hand side, Jayden Anthony on the left, and leading the field is Zion Fleming for Burnley. For Sheffield United, Michael Cooper continues in goal, Hamza Chowdhury, Ahmed Odzic, Jack Robinson the captain, and Harrison Burrows are the defenders. Vinicius Souza and Sidi Peck are the midfielders, with Gus Hammer in the 10. Burton Diaz is further forward alongside Thomas Cannon, and leading the line, Kiefer Moore this evening for Sheffield United. It's second against third and 1 win away from promotion for the home side. Kickoff at Turf Moor is next. A very good evening. Welcome to Championship Live here on LFS. If you were watching a little earlier, we would have kept you up to date with all 11 games that kicked off at 3 o'clock in our feature game. Of course, Leeds 6-0 winners against Stoke City, meaning that they have set up a chance for promotion tonight. If Burnley win, both Leeds and Burnley are promoted. If Burnley draw, Leeds are promoted. And if Sheffield United win, no one is promoted tonight. That's how it goes. It's clear, it's concise. But what will the final result be? Of course, Burnley in their home strip of claret and blue shirts with white shorts, and Sheffield United in their away strip of that off-white colour, like a light beige strip this afternoon with red trimmings. Well, it's Chris Wilder's 300th appearance as a Sheffield United manager, of course. His 300th in charge. But what a way that would be to hold a milestone, to win against the side who haven't lost at home all season in the league in Burnley. And a side they haven't ever beaten at Turf Moor in the Championship in their recent histories. It's Burnley against Sheffield United. And it is the battle of all battles. The climax could come tonight. And the top two could be up depending on the result. And Sheffield United could be destined for playoffs if the result doesn't go their way. As we get underway then for this one, it's a huge clash. Second against third. The top two get automatic promotion to the Prem, and third place will join fourth, fifth and sixth in the playoffs. And they're off to a quick start here, and a chance, and a shot right through to James Trafford's hands from Kiefer Moore there. I wanted to get off to a quick start there. Sheffield United won the ball down the right side. Chowdhury Peck feeds the ball round the corner, and Kiefer Moore drifting into the box, getting on the end of the cross from Brereton Diaz, and Moore's effort straight down the throat of James Trafford in the Burnley goal. Trying to get off to a quick start there were the visitors. Referee for this one, David Webb, very experienced championship referee, 245 previous games he's taken charge of in this division. And the last time he refereed a game involving Sheffield United, they lost 3-1 at home to Leeds. As Burnley are in early here, Jadon Anthony down the left-hand side, chopping inside Chowdhury, still going as Anthony, but he has to come away from the box. Here's Roberts. Now Edwards. Whipped in by Brownhill. Into the box. Across by Mabry, but there's going to be an offside flag up. Free kick to Sheffield United. Both teams know what it means for this one. Scott Parker, Chris Wilder, both previously managed in the Premier League, of course. Chris Wilder, of course, managed Sheffield United when they were in the Premier League, brought them all the way from League One to the Premier League. Around about 5 years ago, that was. Burnley have been up and down quite a lot over the last 10-15 years. And Scott Parker, of course, knows his way around the Premier League. Previous manager of Bournemouth, Fulham and the under-18s of Tottenham as well. But Fulham and Bournemouth, his two previous Premier League jobs. He wants to make Burnley his third, and they can do that with a win this evening. He's only lost 4 games in charge of Burnley in his 47 in charge. Has Scott Parker. And they've only lost 2 league games all season in the Championship. That's why they are where they are. They would be rampant league winners if they won more games than they drew. They've drawn 16 games this season. 25 wins coming into this one. Could their 26th win be their magic number for the Championship side to return to Premier League status? Of course, yesterday we saw Leicester relegated in the Premier League. So 2 already going down, and 2 by the end of today could be taking their places. That's the way it looks like anyway. If Burnley win tonight, they know what's on the line as they win the free kick in their own half. Here with Brownhill giving it back the way. There's no doubting the quality of Burnley, and what Scott Parker's done with them this season is truly remarkable, truly incredible. And last time they were promoted, they won the title with a good 101 points. Incredible. Sheffield United finished that season on 91 in second. And of course Luton were promoted through the playoffs that season when Burnley were last promoted. Of course, last season in the Premier League they finished 19th. They lost 24 games, only won 5. And finished on 24 points in a trip back down to this division in the Championship. And Sheffield United ended up 8 points worse off than Burnley at the end of last season. By the end of tonight, that could also be the same, an 8-point gap between Burnley and Sheffield United. If Burnley win, they would go on to 94 points. Sheffield United would be on 86. And that would promote the top two. As the midfielders there, it was actually Ahmedhodzic going in with a challenge on Zion Fleming, winning the ball. I think he's given a foul, has the referee, on Zion Fleming. Free kick to Burnley. And I'm having a word with Anil Ahmedhodzic. Just a word. And I have to say, being honest, I haven't watched much of Burnley this season. But what I have has been watching from the sidelines, watching what they were cooking up, per se, and what they were doing. And we have covered Sheffield United a few times this season. Actually covered Burnley's 4-1 win against Luton way early in the season. It was all the way back in August. One of the early games of the campaign. It was the last game I did with Burnley. Cross into the box there. Just too high. I think that was Cullen. He ends up going out for a throw-in on the far side here for Sheffield United. And the captain for the Blades, Jack Robinson, who came off the pitch on off the bench on Good Friday in the 2-0 win over Cardiff. Of course, he starts this evening, captains the Sheffield United side. Chris Wilder said how important Jack Robinson is to this Sheffield United team, who have won a corner down this right-hand side of Lucas Perez. Ben Burton Diaz that tried to cross the ball into the box, and Perez got the block in. That will be a Sheffield United corner. The first corner of the game. I'll tell you about Burnley's defensive record in a moment after this corner. I don't want to jinx it. Corner for Sheffield United, right hand side, left footed delivery. Up in the air by Esteve. Not cleared away by Peck though, tried to fizz it in. And then the follow up effort is just over the bar. Unfortunately there for Sheffield United. Came close, good delivery from the corner. Esteve got up, won the header. Not fully cleared by Perez. And then it's just right back in, fizzed by Peck. And then it was the follow-up shot from Harrison Burrows that was put well over the bar for a goal kick. As I was saying, 14 goals for Burnley conceded this season in 43 previous games. If you're to average that out over a league season, that is remarkable. Hold on a moment. Here they come down this left side, Burnley. Anthony's cross into the box. Oh, he has the shot. Oh, Zion Fleming might have got in the way of the shot. It's good work down the left-hand side. Lucas Perez broke down the left on the overlap. Tried to cut it into the box. It's cleared away, but by Robinson. Fell to Anthony, who had the shot with the right foot. And as the effort was going towards goal, Zion Fleming inadvertently got in the way of it. It bounced off his left knee and carried itself wide past Michael Cooper. But if Zion Fleming had stayed out of the way there, that might have been 1-0 to Burnley. There you go. As City Peck was down for a moment. He is okay, but a bit hobbly at the moment there. As he got back to his feet. It's a real scrap battle at the moment, especially in midfield. Here's Vinicius Souza. He goes over the top. Was taken out as the ball was played, but the referee, David Webb, just has to make sure this game doesn't get out of control. Emotions are high. Both have a lot on the line. Jesus, Josh Brownhill come crashing in there on Vinicius Souza. It's going to be a free kick to Sheffield United, but nothing more doing from the referee, David Webb there. Just a free kick. I think that's the smart thing to do. As Harrison Burrows and Gus Hammer are over this one for Sheffield. Good distance out. It's around about the edge of the centre circle, so it's a long way away. Burrows whips it round the right-hand side. Nicely taken down in the box. The left-footed effort is straight at James Trafford again. This time from Kiefer Moore again. Again, it's a nice whip ball by Harrison Burrows. It carries the Burnley defence away. Nicely taken down by Kiefer Moore on the right side as he steps on his left foot. Just strikes it straight, low and hard, but straight at James Trafford, who has 29 clean sheets this season. Absolutely remarkable. Remarkable. I mean, he's going to win the Golden Glove, no doubt about it. I mean, is there anybody anywhere near him in terms of clean sheets this season? I'll have to find out, but I don't think so. And a good start from Sheffield United, I've got to say. Although Burnley have probably had the closest chance, with Zion Fleming actually did the Sheffield United defending for them there. I still think they've started really well, Sheffield United. A good few efforts. They're battling well in midfield. And those are the type of things they'll have to overcome. You know, Burnley, a very physical side. A side that aren't afraid to throw a challenge in, as we saw there with Josh Brownhill, who's the Burnley captain. So they're not afraid to go in on challenges. And Sheffield United need to have that dominance as well, of having that physicality to battle with Burnley and win those challenges. Because you can very easily be seen out of a game if you start losing your one-on-ones and your 50-50 duels. James Trafford, by the way, has 28. He had 28 clean sheets coming into this one. That's a 67% clean sheet rate, which is unbelievable. He didn't obviously get a clean sheet on Good Friday, of course, in Matchday 43 with that 2-1 win away at Watford. Of course, Illan Meslier has 21. Michael Cooper, the Sheffield United keeper, has 20 clean sheets individually. Burnley as a team have 29. Leeds have 23, and Sheffield United have 21 clean sheets this season in the Championship, which is unbelievable. Burnley, a third of their games, 2/3 of their games, they have kept a clean sheet in this season. That's nuts. That's nuts. Unbelievable. And a 71% clean sheet rate at home. If you thought their defensive record as a whole was great, at home they've conceded just 6 goals all season. In 22 home games they've conceded 6 goals. I mean, that's just nuts. That's mental. Mental. They've conceded 1 goal every 3.5 home games. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, it's Fortress Turf Moor, really, but my goodness. Mansouri, welcome into the chat grid. Are you with us? Is Hannibal playing? He is. Hannibal Mabry is in the 10 for Burnley today. The number 28, I think he is, in the squad. He is. And there is Hannibal Mabry, who felt he was fouled there by Ahmed Odzic, but the referee sees no issue. And now Sheffield United want to feed. Kiefer Moore in behind. Oh, it's Tom Cannon, actually, sorry. But he's well battled by the defender, Maxime Esteve, who got across for Burnley. Just looked like the power of Tom Cannon, the pace, was just going to beat past the Burnley defence, but Esteve did incredibly well to battle back and get across. There is a threat here from Sheffield United. It's interesting because it was brought up in the pre-match interview about maybe a change of system for Sheffield United, maybe a front two, a 4-4-2. And from what I can gather, if I can get a wide angle, it does look like a 4-4-2 for Sheffield United. Gus Hamer's just dropped down the left. Sousa, Peck, and then Brereton Diaz are across the midfield 4. The back 4 is normal. And the front 2 of Kiefer Moore and Tom Cannon for Sheffield United. That's the setup so far. So a change from the 4-2-3-1 system that they are so used to playing. As Moore winning his header from the long clearance by Michael Cooper. But again, cleared away by Burnley. But City Peck wins it back for Sheffield United. Back with Jack Robinson now. Ahmed Odzic. Chowdhury. Trying to feed the ball forward. Cleared away by Perez. One back in the midfield there by Vinicius Souza. Lovely little 1-2. Couldn't really get it forward as Ahmedhodzic just about squeezes it through the legs of Zion Fleming. And now there's space down the left for Burrows. Inside to Gus Hamer. Hamer, lovely little turn of pace, and was brought down there when he tried to play the ball towards City Peck. And the referee is just going to pull that one back for a free kick. And I think the Sheffield United players are asking for a yellow card for Josh Brownhill. That's the second late challenge he's made in this game so far. And they were just asking the question, the visiting players, but the referee just again giving a free kick. I'm sure Josh Brownhill is on maybe his last warning, really. 2 late challenges. I think if he gets a third one, it will be a little bit of trip to the referee's book for Josh Brownhill. Not just yet, though. It's another free kick for Sheffield United. Again, around about the halfway line. On the edge of the centre circle. Hamer and Burrows over it again. It's Hamer this time. Spins it around the left side. Just too much for Jack Robinson to get anywhere near. Nice idea. It's a little bit too much pace on it from Gus Hamer, because Robinson was as free as a bird down that left-hand side. He was nowhere to be tracked by anybody in claret and blue. And unlucky for Robinson. Ball was just overhit a slight bit there. 16.5 minutes gone. Burnley 0, Sheffield United 0. Burnley have had over 60% of the possession, 66% of the ball, but only one shot in the opening 15-16 minutes, as Hannibal Mabry was brought down again there, and he gets the free kick this time, which G's up the crowd. And I think there was some sarcastic cheers, especially from Mabry. He thought he was fouled 2 or 3 times previously, not given the free kick, and now given the set piece. Burnley 1 shot, none on target. Sheffield United 4 shots, 2 on target in the opening 17 minutes. A chance for Burnley to change this now with this set piece. Is Lucas Perez, the Brazilian. It is over it. Jadon Anthony. And Edwards to deliver. Cleared away. Not fully cleared though. Kept alive by Roberts with a cross too high. Anthony trying to keep it in, but Gus Hamer's going to see it out for a Sheffield United throw. Yeah, it was Marcus Edwards, apologies, sorry, that delivered that ball into the box. And again, well defended at the back post by Sheffield United. Well, we know, even Sheffield United come into this game knowing a win is a must for them. If they're wanting automatic promotion, they know even a draw would really harm them, because they would go into the final 2 games 5 points behind Burnley. And with Burnley's record, it would be all but impossible, really, for them to steal second spot. So they know a win is probably a must if they want to rescue a top 2 finish. Burnley head to QPR and then host Millwall on the final day. Sheffield United's final 2 games after this are away to Stoke and home to Blackburn, so 2 sides not with much to play for, but this is the big game. Sheffield United come away with a draw here. They can do as well as winning their last 2 games, but as long as Burnley pick up just 1 point from their final 2, they're promoted, so it doesn't really matter. Unless Sheffield United win tonight, you would feel, and they would probably feel, that playoffs is where they will be. And they'll want to end the season strong to head into playoffs in the best form possible for those playoffs. But remember, it won't be here that it will be won or lost. It will be those 3 games where they lost in a row, with Oxford, Millwall and Plymouth, and those 3 losing games. That's where their season has gone by the way. And, yes, they'd still lost more games than both Leeds and Burnley combined before those 3 games they lost, but they were still in a promising position because they'd drawn so many less at Sheffield United. They still actually have the joint most wins in the division, 27, along with Leeds now, who won, of course, earlier today. So they were in a much stronger position 4 games ago, Sheffield United. Knew they probably could win the title, could be flying their way to another promotion, and then losing 3 in a row just deaded that, really. Edwards lifting into the box. Here's Jadon Anthony. Anthony trying to lift it towards the goal, but well blocked out there by Hamza Chowdhury. It will be a Burnley corner, has it? I think it's given actually a goal kick, has he? He has. It looked like he was given a corner. He did initially, the referee, give a corner, but I think that's been ratified. Yeah, it has. Goal kick. I mean, I didn't have a good view of it myself from the wide angle. The referee rectifying his first decision. Dan Fleming. Heavy touch there. Allowed Burrows back in. And now Harmer trying to swing it out to the far right side. No one there in Sheffield United colours. Brought down easily by Perez. Now fed wide to Jadon Anthony down the left channel. Anthony up against Chowdhury. Has to turn back. Plays it in field. Brownhill. Back the way it comes to Cullen. Now Egan Riley. And down the left hand side it goes from Burnley. Right the way back to Michael Cooper in the Sheffield United goal. Well, we talk about Sheffield United's away form. They have, of course, as I said, lost their last 2 away from home against Oxford and Plymouth. 2 sides that have relegation battle on their minds at the moment. But they've won 12 of their 12 of their 21 previous away games. Drawn 4, lost 5 this season, Sheffield United. Of course, Burnley have the best away record in the division. Of course. But Sheffield United second on that list. 40 points picked up on the road this season. That's just 8 less than they've picked up at home this campaign. So fairly consistent home and away this season so far, Sheffield United. But the last couple have let them down on the road. I want to bounce back. And some statement it would be if they do win against Burnley tonight. You know, they come into this one under the pressure of having lost 3 in a row, lost the last 2 away from home in a row, and then back to winning ways against Cardiff, a side that no one really rates to stay in the division. The statement would mean winning here, where no one has won here, other than Burnley obviously, this season. No away side has won here this season in the league. To come here, the couple of games to go, win this game and say, yeah, we're not done for automatic promotion. We're here to finish in the top 2. That would be some statement from Sheffield United against the Burnley side, who've been impeccable at home this season. Impeccable. Halfway through the first half, and not much to really display for either side in the final third. Kiefer Moore's 2 efforts on target were pretty simple catches for James Trafford in the Burnley goal. Burnley haven't had a shot on target yet, so not much to test either goalkeeper, really. Misalife says, what is the result in this game that means Leeds are promoted? I can show you that now. I'll show you the perms again. Perms. As if anybody's ever said that. The permutations. So Burnley are promoted if they win tonight. It's as simple as that. Now Leeds would be promoted after they won against Stoke, so that's done and dusted. They would be promoted if Sheffield United failed to win. So if Burnley win or Burnley draw, Leeds will be promoted either of those results. But if Burnley win, both teams will be promoted to the Premier League tonight. Here's Brownhill lifting it round the corner. Mabry trying to keep it in play. And a good bit of battling defensively there from Ben Brereton Diaz. And sees it out for a goal kick. You'll see that again. It's Cullen down the right side. Lays it off to Edwards. Edwards holds it back to Brownhill. who lifts it into the box. And just a little bit away from Hannibal Mabry round the back of Ben Burton Diaz there, who did very well to see it out for a goal kick. Of course, Hannibal, the 22-year-old Tunisian, of course, joined Burnley in the summer for £5.3 million from Manchester United. And so far this season, just one championship goal in that 34 previous appearances. And that only came in their last home game for Burnley, again the 2-1 win over Norwich. And he also assisted in the Good Friday game against Watford, so he's picking up the goal contributions at the right point of the season. He had only two goal contributions in his previous 32 appearances, and in his last two appearances he's got 2 goal contributions out of his total 4. Here's Edwards! Couldn't quite direct it towards goal. Pinged out to the left hand side here. Perez, Anthony. Has to go back the way though for Burnley. That was nice work down the right side. And Marcus Edwards almost had a glimpse of the goal. Here's Perez. Lovely little ball through to Mabry. Calls of offside there from Sheffield United, but they win the ball back anyway. And here's Kiefer Moore trying to stick the afterburners on, but well challenged in the midfield there, as Brownhill was caught by Gus Hamer a little bit late. And it's going to see a yellow card come Gus Hamer's way here for that cynical challenge. And I think that will be one of... Yeah, it's a yellow card out from David Webb there. See this again. So it was great challenge by Fleming. Fabulous challenge, and then Gus Hamer just leaves it a stray right leg in on Josh Brownhill. Cynical. And denying a promising attack. Stopping a promising attack, which leads to a yellow card. And his 13th yellow card of the season. Mental. Gus Hamer, absolutely imperious. He is so important to this Sheffield United side. Scored that great goal against Cardiff on Good Friday to open the scoring after they'd been really held and kind of stifled and frustrated by Cardiff in the early moments at Bramall Lane. And he broke the deadlock, did Hamer. Perez falls for Edwards, and now Cullen. Can they force it over the line? They can. And it is their captain, Josh Brownhill, that does it. He scored in the reverse fixture against Sheffield United. Well, he's just scored again against them. A little bit scrappy, a little bit loose. But when you've got the opportunity, you have to take it. And Burnley are grasping it with both hands now. Poor defensively from Sheffield United. And the Burnley captain, Josh Brownhill, rifles it into the back of the nets. And that is a huge goal in the promotion race. It's good work from Edwards. Edwards off the right hand side, chops onto his left, works it towards the box. It's a poor clearance header by Jack Robinson, I think it is, in here. He heads it straight on to one of the Burnley players. It falls for Cullen, who's shot safe by Cooper, and it bounces back out into the path of Josh Brownhill, who's the first to react to the ball in the air and absolutely rockets it into the roof of the net. Burnley take the lead, and as it stands, both Leeds and Burnley would be heading back to the big time. Burnley 1, Sheffield United 0. Oh wow. What a start for Burnley. How incredible it would be. And let's show you what that means. What that means. I'm sure delirium around Ellen Road and around Yorkshire at the moment. For those Leeds fans, I'm sure, watching keenly on the action here at Turf Moor this evening, knowing that if Burnley win, they and Burnley are promoted, and that's the way it looks now. Leeds on 94. As it stands, Burnley on 94. And Sheffield United would drop to 86, which would promote both Leeds and Burnley back to the Premier League. But remember, we've only played, 29 minutes? Long way to go. Long way to go. But, breathe. Breathe. Burnley 1, Sheffield United 0. And we talk about it, you know, the fine margins of football at the very highest level. When you need to find an advantage, you need to be alert, concentrate for 100% of the game. And Burnley were hyper alert. From that set piece, any sort of deflection, any sort of touch of the ball, they had their eyes keenly on it. And Josh Brownhill, really nice finish. An opportunistic moment, but the opportunity, as I said, grasped with both hands. And that got Burnley up and running. Up and running. His 15th championship goal of the season for Josh Brownhill. He would be in the Golden Boot race if Joel Piroux hadn't scored 4 goals today. But, yeah, Josh Brownhill, what an incredible goal-scoring season from midfield. 15 goals from midfield is quite incredible. Lovely ball over the top here. Roberts trying to cause a problem. Michael Cooper, where's he going? He's booted it right out of play there. But he'd come a long distance and had to get rid, because there was Burnley players surrounding him. Look at that. The scenes inside Turf Moor. The scenes of sheer delight. They didn't get this opportunity back 2 years ago. They were away from home when they won the title and were crowned champions of this division. They've got as many as they can fit inside Turf Moor here tonight. Watching on, waiting with bated breath as Anthony tries to cut it back into the box there. Well blocked by Peck, who clears away. It's a lovely night for football. Lovely evening for football, shall I say, here in the Midlands. And Burnley, they know what this means. The man who isn't very happy at the moment is Chris Wilder. Watching on. He is very frustrated. The Sheffield United manager. 5 games ago they were in pole position. And now, with 2.5 games to go, they might just be destined for playoffs. That's the way it would be as it stands in this one. But a long way to go. Robinson. Into Vinicius Souza. Over the top it goes. Towards Kiefer Moore. Who opportunistic! Oh! Somehow there was a block in there. Kiefer Moore. I think it was Esteve, was it, that got the block. Ball over the top here. Moore making the run in behind. And Egan Riley gets shoved out of the way, but it was Esteve that got across and got the block in. Kiefer Moore eyeing up the goal. And what a block by the Burnley defender. Maxime Esteve puts it behind for the Sheffield United corner. But that was an opportune moment for Kiefer Moore there. Corner taken short into the box. Shot from Hammer. Well blocked. Another corner. Got so much work to do. There's a problem here for one of the Burnley players, Jaden Anthony, who's got a full whack there. I can tell you it's not in a good place. I'll just say that. It's where you wouldn't want to be hit with a football for Jaden Anthony. He is okay. He's battling on at the front post there. Has work to do. Short corner again. Halmer rolls it back for City. Peck, he has a chance. Crowded out. Still alive. Akmanodzic blocked. Harmer with it now. He will hit one from long. But once again, as every Sheffield United shot on target has, firmly grasped by James Trafford. Long distance, this about 30 yards from Gus Harmer. It was curling right into the hands of James Trafford in the Burnley goal. I gotta say, James Trafford, if and probably when Burnley get promoted, they will struggle to keep hold of him. What a season he is having. There was even a point in the season, I believe, where one of the Burnley owners, I think it might be JJ Watt, TJ Watt, whatever one of them it is, that is the former NFL quarterback, said that he would come out of retirement and play NFL next season if James Trafford kept a clean sheet till the end of the season. It was unbelievable stuff, but some bet you have on. I mean, to be told your impact is so important. I mean, it's unbelievable how many clean sheets they've kept this season. Unbelievable. In some of the games he's been called into action more times than enough. The Burnley keeper, James Trafford, he's been called into action more times than enough on a number of games, but he's always stood up. And, you know, in a tough division like the Championship, even when you are one of the best sides, it's still a tough league. Nothing's ever given or handed to you. Sheffield United have proved that in recent games. They're one of the best sides in the division, and they were humbled 3 games in a row. So nothing's ever easy. To stand up and be counted week in, week out for 46 games of the season is some remarkable. Here, they've got a breakaway here, Sheffield United. Vinicius Souza rolls it through. Kiefer Moore a little bit short. Here's Burrows. Now Harmer. Lots of Burnley players back now, though. Burrows back to Gus Harmer. Trying to eke a little bit of space. This first half flew by. 37 minutes gone. Here's Harmer breaking towards the box. Fed through for the shot. Cannon has roofed it. And Sheffield United are level. Incredible. The roof of the net hit at one end for Burnley's opener. And right at the other end, Sheffield United respond in the exact same way. Tom Cannon with the effort into the roof. And it all comes through Gus Harmer here. Lovely little run away from his man. Breaks into space. Feeds it in behind for Cannon, who gets past his man. Sets up the shot and gives James Trafford absolutely no chance. Wonder effort. All created by Gus Harmer. Absolute sensation he is. And Burnley, from 1-0 up, have been pegged back. Burnley 1, Sheffield United 1. And it is Tom Cannon with a goal. That is huge. They're not done or dusted yet. And they don't believe they are, Sheffield United. Burnley 1, Sheffield United 1. It is more than game on here at Turf Moor now. Remember, as it stands, a draw would only promote Leeds. Let's show you what that means then. So this is the way it looked before, with Burnley winning. If it will update now for me and tell me that they're both drawing now, that would be great, because I could show you that Leeds would be the only side that would be promoted as it stands. Burnley would drop to 92 points. Leeds would be on 94 points. There we are. And Sheffield United on 87, which would mean Leeds would be promoted. Burnley would be 5 points clear of Sheffield United, but not mathematically promoted. So Leeds would be the only side being promoted tonight if the scoreline stays as it is. But something tells me it's not going to. Just something. 39 minutes gone here at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, Sheffield United 1. Tom Cannon rifling the roof of the net. Here's Harmer. They might have got themselves warmed up. Oh, loose pass though. Zion Fleming almost found a way through, but Peck does well to spin away from his marker and Hannibal and swings it out to the left side, but too much for Harrison Burrows to get anywhere near. Goal kick. Well, my goodness. This has been some game so far. Nerve jangling, nail biting. For those Burnley fans, it's only a win will do. for them to see their name up in lights in the Premier League listings for next season. Only a win would do. A draw wouldn't be enough tonight. Oh, there's a nice ball in behind. Zion Fleming's away. He's brought down. The referee says no penalty. Wags his right finger. David Webb and Hannibal Mabry and Zion Fleming both arguing the case, but neither getting the decision. Nice ball by Mabry down the left again for Jayden Anthony this time. Well seen out by Hamza Choudhury. Let's see this again. Fleming gets in behind. It's Ahmed Odzic that makes contact, but there's no contact. Never in a million years. Very, very good refereeing there. Ahmed Odzic does absolutely nothing here. I mean, it would have been an awful decision if that was given, and would have been incredibly harsh on Anel Ahmedhodzic, because he barely touched him. He never really touched him. And here's a bit of space here from the throw-in, and Mabry wins the corner. That's got the crowd back up again. So intriguing. I mean, I've got no skin in the game at all. That's why the Championship's so great. I don't actually have an emotional connection to any of this, but it's great. Absolutely blockbuster, box office, whatever you want to call it. It's unbelievable. Corner for Burnley, left-hand side. 4 minutes of the first half to go. 1-1. Only Leeds will be promoted as it stands. Left-footed delivery from the corner goes short. Perez to Edwards, back to Perez. Ooh, kind of getting tangled up between each other there. Here is Edwards. Can't get the cross in, will get the throw in. Down this left side off Hamza Choudhury. He played incredibly well against Cardiff in the 2-0 win on Good Friday. One of the top players for Sheffield United that day. Edwards with a cross. Bouncing its way through. Mabry goes down. And this one is going to be given. A quick look from the referee and points to the spot. Mabry brought down, this time by Ahmedhodzic, and this time round the referee does point to the spot. So Burnley do get a penalty. Let's see it again. Cross in from Perez. Anthony gets beaten to it by Robinson, and then Ahmedhodzic a little bit sloppy, a bit dangly. And he throws a leg out at Hannibal Mabry, and he's nowhere near the ball. That's a criminal decision. He's nowhere near it. You're best just leaving it at that point, instead of swinging a stray leg out. And Ahmedhodzic maybe a bit dazed from the earlier penalty shouts, and he has given away a penalty. As the end of the first half nears, Michael Cooper has to be a hero here for Sheffield United. It's Josh Brownhill. He's already found a way past Cooper once. Can he do it twice in one half? If there's ever a man who doesn't feel pressure, it's the Burnley captain, Josh Brownhill. The Sheffield United players are not happy with the ball placement here. It's the referee's decision what happens there. Tom Cannon and Jack Robinson need to get off their high horses. Let the referee just do his job. Josh Brownhill stepping up here for Burnley to give them the lead once again. He's put past Cooper once. Josh Brownhill steps up and puts past him twice. Burnley back in front and back on the promotion chase. And Josh Brownhill again, just like he did the first time. He gives Burnley the lead that would get them back to the Premier League. Pressure moment not felt by Josh Brownhill. He's done this time and time again for this club. A true veteran. A true Burnley man that lives and breathes this football club. And he's got them back in front here. Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1. What a cracking first half we've been witness to. Incredible stuff. His 16th goal of the season. He's following in the shoes of Joel Piroux here. And he's got himself back in the Golden Boot conversation. He's only 3 away. The form he's on so far, he might not be too far away come the end of the season, if not leading. Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1. Again, let me get the table up. Let me show you what that means then. Burnley and Leeds. You know it already. Burnley and Leeds would all be promoted as it stands. And that's got the crowd going again, as we will have 3 additional minutes at the end of the first half. A first half that's absolutely flown by. As the saying goes, time flies when you're having fun. And by goodness, this has been entertaining. This first half. Far from over, far from done and dusted. But it has been anything but boring. Mabry brought down again. The referee was going to play advantage. He's actually pulled it back for the foul. He could have played advantage. And now Jack Robinson's going to get a yellow card for dissent, for arguing with the referee's decision. Which it's not the first time that Jack Robinson's had a few choice words to say to the referee, David Webb. Yeah, Mabry just caught late. He's caught late. I mean, I don't know what Robinson's actually arguing there. It's definitely a foul. Yeah, it's him that actually puts the header into the midfield. It puts, I think it's City Peck that commits the foul under pressure, and then he makes the unnecessary challenge. So Robinson gets himself booked for dissent, his 9th yellow card of the season. And I think the guy that committed the foul has got away without a card, so that's quite ironic. Free kick to Burnley then, in the Sheffield United half. They might have lost their heads a little bit here, the Blades. Burnley, cool as a cucumber. Free kick taken short, Roberts. Feeds it wide to Edwards, who whips one deep towards the box. Doesn't quite reach the box. Cleared away by Souza. And Mabry again brought down. I mean, how many times is that going to happen? And Ben Brereton Diaz this time does it. I mean, Hannibal Mabry's been brought down about 4 times in this first half. I mean, he sees it a mile off. I mean, Ben Brereton Diaz is nowhere near getting the ball, and Hannibal Mabry knows, I don't need to jump for this, I'm getting the free kick. I mean, what's going on? No composure from Sheffield United. When Chris Wilder watches on, I would love to know what he's thinking, because his players are throwing this at the moment. And Burnley, there's no pressure on them. Sheffield United aren't putting any pressure on them. Another free kick. 30 seconds of the first half to go. Chip ball towards the box. Fed out wide to Marcus Edwards, who takes a nice first touch. Rolls it back to Roberts. Gives it inside. Lifted over the top by Cullen. Roberts continuing his run, but seen out well there by the defenders of Sheffield United. And there's the half-time whistle. 45 minutes down and 45 to go. And Burnley are just a half of football away from being back to the Premier League alongside Leeds United as it stands. Half-time at Turf Moor in the battle of second against third. It's Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1. Welcome back to Championship Live. Half-time in that big game this evening on Easter Monday. It's Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1. And after Leeds' 6-0 thrashing of Stoke earlier, this is what it means for the promotion race in the Championship. Leeds and Burnley, as it stands, would both be heading back to the Premier League. Leeds, for the first time in 4 years, heading back to the top division, and Burnley back for the first time of asking after they were relegated at the end of last season. So they will be heading back their first time. Sheffield United trying to do the same, but of course might just need playoffs now, and that would be the case if it stays at Burnley winning. So that's the way the table looks at the moment, but let's really analyse that first half and kind of break it down. And there's a lot to get through. It started quite slow-paced in the game, believe it or not. Probably the first 20 minutes was kind of both sides just feeling each other out, not really having too much of a go. I mean, Sheffield United had 2 shots on target in the first 20 minutes, but nothing of real great note. I mean, 2 Kiefer Moore shots that were easily caught by James Trafford. And then Burnley didn't have a shot on target in the first 20 minutes, so there wasn't really much to separate the two sides in terms of attacking-wise in the first 20 minutes or so. And really, as I said, just maybe feeling each other out, maybe just not rushing their way into the game. But I do think Sheffield United started the better of the two teams. I think they come out with a little bit more energy. I think they come out with a little bit more physicality. They were winning the battles a little bit better and getting into higher areas in the field on a more consistent basis. And I think the change of system that we've noticed, the 4-4-2 change from 4-2-3-1 to 4-4-2 for Sheffield United in that first half, has kind of caught Burnley a little bit asleep a little bit, in a sense, in the first 20 minutes, and they just had to adjust to get to grips with it, figure it out, and figure a way of trying to stop Sheffield United in those early moments. And I do think they've worked a way around it and they've figured it out, but I also think the way the game has gone in terms of the goals has also helped Burnley that way. They started to take a little bit more control of it, and then the first goal comes, again, free kick in a decent area, again, but it was badly defended. A good cross from Marcus Edwards from the right-hand side. A little bit of ping-pong in around the area. Not great defending from Sheffield United whatsoever. Good shot by Cullen that was well saved by Michael Cooper. And then the follow-up, of course, absolutely rifled into the roof of the net by Josh Brownhill to give Burnley the lead. And that just kind of brought the atmosphere inside the stadium. It gave Burnley that little bit of extra confidence, and they just took control of the game from then on out. And then, probably about 5 minutes later, Sheffield United started to work their way back into the game again. And at a little moment, and again, I said it early in the game, and I said it on Friday as well when we watched them win 2-0 against Cardiff for Sheffield United. Gus Hamer is absolutely all over this Sheffield United team. He is the identity of this team. He is the creative force for Sheffield United. There is no one better creating chances in the Sheffield United team, and it's no kind of coincidence that he's the one that creates the equalising goal. Lovely little move, and it's a nice link up in the midfield, but what Gus Hamer does off the ball is so important to what he does on the ball afterwards. What he does is he drifts away from his man, just giving himself, even if he gets the ball back, just giving himself that extra touch, that extra second or two to settle on the ball and then work it off. He gets himself away from his man around the unsided side, gets in behind, feeds a lovely ball through, beautiful kind of run by Tom Cannon, who gets himself away from his man and then roofs it into the net as well for the equaliser for Sheffield United. And that got them back into the game. That kind of got the game a little bit more even. It got a lot more close between the two sides and back to maybe the way it was in the first 20 minutes, but this time both sides having more of a threat. It then came to pass that Burnley were, again, working their way back to taking dominance and control of the game and fighting for that second goal again. They went down wanting a penalty through Zion Fleming, not given, correctly not given by the referee, but I don't think Sheffield United then recomposed themselves from that moment, because it's no coincidence that it's Ahmedhodzic just a minute or two after the penalty claim that wasn't given that he gives away a penalty in the game. He didn't refocus, they didn't recompose themselves, the Sheffield United defence. They end up making it a cheap challenge. I mean, it's poor from Ahmed Odzic. I mean, he makes a heavy touch himself, he chases the ball, he sends out a stray leg. He's never getting to the ball. Hannibal Mabry knows what's going on there, and it's really smart from him. You could see it a mile off. I mean, it's just poor defending. It's a lapse of judgment, and he pays for it, Ahmed Odzic, and a great rifling finish from Josh Brownhill. Bottom right corner. No chance for Cooper. And the second time of the afternoon, Josh Brownhill gives Burnley the lead. But again, I think Burnley mentally are stronger from the first half, and that's what I've seen. You know, when they were pegged back, their heads didn't drop. The opposite happened. They were desperate to get that second goal. But whenever Sheffield United came under that pressure and had that little wobbly moment of the penalty incident that wasn't a penalty, they didn't recompose themselves. They didn't get themselves back on terms, back battling again to try and take the lead themselves. And considering they had the momentum when they had equalised, they just let it slip and let it fall away, and they didn't compose themselves, conceded a penalty, and then Burnley took control of the game again and got the lead. So from Sheffield United, they've kind of lost their way a little bit in that first half. They didn't compose themselves, they didn't get themselves back to just settled in the game, and that's where leaders come into it. And I think it's been disappointing that Chris Wilder said how important Jack Robinson is for Sheffield United, and I get he's trying to fight his team's corner, but some of the things that he's done, he's just been arguing with the referee, a bit arbitrary, a bit just idiotic really, just no need to make silly little arguments with the referee. He gets himself a yellow card, and I mean, from a captain's point of view, you can't do things like that in a game that is so important to your season, so important to your team trying to get promoted, and away from home, of course. You know, you can't do things like that, giving away, kind of getting cheap yellow cards and making yourself an enemy of the referee, basically, in a sense, and just putting yourself in the mind of the referee. It's just not composing your team. It's just unforgivable. And at this level, you will be punished, and especially against this Burnley team, who, as I said, haven't lost at home this season. And if Sheffield United are to do it, and be the first team to do it this season, they're going to have to be a hell of a lot better mentally in the second half, because they've got the quality. There's no doubt they've got the quality, but the mentality is what separates the two teams, and Burnley have just got such a winning mentality, and such a mentality of nothing can shake them, nothing can break them, and that is so indispensable, so unbelievably kind of valuable in the top level of football, and they have that in abundance, and that was so evident in that first half from Burnley, and they lead by 2-1 at the break. And Josh Brownhill, of course, the 2 goals for him. 16 in total for him on the season. That means he's well back in the battle for the Golden Boot. Let's have a look at the other results then from 3 o'clock on Easter Monday then. Cardiff kept their hopes of safety alive in getting a draw at home against Oxford. They led that game, but Oxford got a late equaliser to draw that one and take themselves a little bit further away from the relegation zone. Hull had to come from behind against Preston. They were under a lot of pressure, were Hull City, in the relegation battle, but a win eases the little bit of pressure they were under earlier today. Leeds 6-0 winners, made easy work of Stoke. 4 from Joel Piroe, the first time he's ever done that in his career for Leeds United, his first ever English football hat-trick for Joel Piroe. 6-0 for Leeds. Luton 3-1 winners against Bristol City. Bristol City in 5th, but not convincingly in the playoffs now. Luton giving themselves a little bit of respite and a little bit of a chance of safety. Back-to-back wins over the Easter weekend for Luton Town gets them right back in the mix for safety. Millwall, outside of outside chances. They maybe have the slimmest of chances of getting playoffs, but they kept it alive with a 3-1 win over Norwich at home. Plymouth, bottom still, but not bottom by points, bottom by mere literal difference. Very little difference between those teams at the bottom at the moment. Only by a couple of points are Plymouth bottom. They would have been all but relegated today if they'd have lost at home to Coventry, but Coventry lost, which means they are still not confirmed in the top 6. They wouldn't have been confirmed today anyway, but Coventry falling here certainly not a good sign for them towards the end of the season. Portsmouth, easy work at Watford, 1-0 winners. Swansea, 2-1 away at QPR. Sheffield Wednesday had to come from behind to beat Middlesbrough. And Middlesbrough side, if they'd have won, with Coventry losing, they would have jumped up to the top 6, but they faltered that winning position to lose away at Sheffield Wednesday. Sunderland beaten 1-0 at home by Blackburn. And Derby winning 3-1 away at West Brom, which meant Derby stayed out of the bottom 3 no matter what happened elsewhere. As long as they keep winning and keep matching the results of everyone else around them, they will stay up. Will Derby, and Burnley 2-1 ahead against Sheffield United. So, quick look at the table then before we get ready for the second half. It's Burnley and Leeds who will be going up to the Premier League tonight. Sheffield United will be destined for playoffs as it stands, along with Sunderland, Bristol City and Coventry. At the moment, Sunderland will get playoffs. Bristol City and Coventry still not confirmed. Middlesbrough, Millwall and Blackburn still have mathematical chance of finding the top 6. Into the bottom half. Plymouth rock bottom still, but 43 points for them, as do Cardiff on 43 with 2 games to go. Luton on 46, as are Derby, and Hull on 48, still not out of it. Neither are Oxford or even Preston are still mathematically possible of going down with 2 games to go. I think Stoke and above should be okay. They're not out of the water yet mathematically, but they should be okay. We will see. That's the way the league table looks. Don't forget, coming up a little later on, we have another game for you. The Premier League concludes its Matchday 33 with Spurs hosting Nottingham Forest. Forest still in the chase for Europe and the Champions League, and that is later on this evening. Kickoff at 8 o'clock from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Right, second half at Turf Moor is on the way next. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Championship Live. Second half of Turf Moor, is on the way in just a second. The players are just coming back out onto the field of play. Burnley 2-1 up at the moment. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That will be greatly appreciated. We're on the way to 26,000 subscribers, and we thank each and every one of you who is joining us this evening for this one. Because as it stands, Burnley and Leeds will be heading back to the Premier League. Sheffield United will be destined for playoffs if it stays as it is. Right. The manager's just returning to the field of play. Scott Parker not in a hurry. It's just been smart from Burnley so far. Said their mentality's been better, but their game management's been better as well. And those are the two things you really can't equate. That's all comes down to the way the team is, and just that team chemistry and the intelligence from each and every player on your team. That's something that just can't be coached. Game management and game intelligence. And of course, mentality. It's Burnley back underway then for here at Turf Moor this evening. Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1, and 45 minutes separates Leeds and Burnley as it stands away from a Premier League return. Leeds were last in the Premier League a number of years ago. They of course won the league. It was the last time they were promoted back in 2020. They were last in the Prem. The 22-23 season. They were relegated, of course, in the 22-23 season, finishing 19th on 31 points. Just 5 points off safety that season. Of course, they saved themselves from relegation the year prior. And obviously finished 9th in their first season back in the Prem in almost 20 years, did Leeds in 2020. 3 successive seasons in the Premier League were ended in 23, and they will be returning, it seems, as it stands, in 2025, as will Burnley, who will return at the first time of asking. Remember, they were relegated only last season from the Premier League, were Burnley. Relegated in 19th last season. They were relegated before that in 18th as well, so it's up and down for Burnley over the last number of years. They want to be back there on a consistent basis, and they'll hope this time around, if they can get it over the line tonight, will be the time. Hannibal working it down the right hand side here for Burnley. Brian Hill trying to feed it through, but all the way through to Michael Cooper. Well, Hannibal certainly had his way around the Sheffield United players in the first half. Got a couple of good fouls and got the penalty, of course, in that first 45. Did Hannibal Mabry. He's fouled 4 times in the first half. Was Hannibal. Long kick by Cooper, but out of play for a Burnley throw. What would Chris Wilder have said to his team at half-time? What would he have been thinking? I'm sure I would give quite a bit of money to figure that out. Be nice to know. I'm sure we'll find out at full time, whatever the result is, what Chris Wilder has to say. But as I said in the first half, this season will not come down to whether Burnley or whether Sheffield United won or lost this game. It will come down to those 3 games and teams they probably should have been winning against that they lost in recent games. That's what it will come down to. That's where the difference will be made. Because after tonight, if Burnley do win, Sheffield United will be 8 points behind the top 2. And if they'd have won their 3 games, they would have been 1 point above the 2 of them heading into the final 2 games of the season. That's how things change. That's how they ebb and flow. And that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Especially in such a tight league like the Championship, that nearly every season sees the relegation battle, the playoffs and the promotion race go down to near the final day. Certainly the final couple of weeks of the season. It is so concise, it is so competitive. That's what makes it so entertaining. In that first half, it certainly was entertaining. Great first half of football. Let's hope the second half lives up to it just the same. Here is Souza. Now Harmer. Gus Harmer feeds the nice ball through. Kiefer Moore was beaten to it, and Roberts puts it out for a throw down out the far side. I think he wanted an offside call there, but there's nothing coming out of that. Throw into Sheffield United down the left, and once again it was Gus Harmer's ball that caused a little bit of a problem in the Burnley defence there. As Jack Robinson will take this throw in the left hand side. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1. Long throw by Robinson. Into the box. Moore was trying to get to it. Hannibal breaks away from the tracker there in Harmer and tries to feed Marcus Edwards away, but well covered over by Chowdhury. And the ball from Mabry was just too much. Souza, long ball forward, looking for the run of Harmer. Burton Diaz trying to battle as well, but well won by Cullen. And now Hannibal squares it across. Finding Josh Cullen, who squeezes it through for Zian Fleming. The flag's gone up. He has his shot saved anyway, but the flag was up. Went up quickly there by the assistant. Let's see it again. Nice little ball. Yeah, he was offside. Just, but he was offside. There's Zian Fleming. Ball whipped into the box here by Sheffield United. Half cleared by Jayden Anthony. And Mabry trying to carry it away. Well challenged. Anthony back in his own left back position. Here's Perez. Clears it long. Towards Mabry, who was brought down. And wins Burnley a free kick. And a little bit of respite off Hamza Chowdhury there. Yeah, long clearance by Lucas Perez. And Hannibal Mabry. He knew what he was doing there again. Winning the foul. Smart. Really smart. His impact is immense so far for Burnley. It's his 5th foul he's got out of Sheffield United in this game. Oh, a cheap giveaway there at the back by Egan Riley. Harmer cuts it back across. Little bit muddled. Nicely stolen away by Perez. And look at the space here for Burnley. On the move, Perez lays it off for Edwards. Edwards chops back onto his left. Lays it off now to Hannibal, whose shot was deflected behind for the corner. I mean, it was CJ Egan Riley that gave the ball away at the back for Burnley. They won it back as Sheffield United got muddled at the edge of the box. And then on the break comes Perez, laid it off to Edwards, who stepped inside, and then laid it off to Hannibal, whose shot was deflected by Vinicius Souza and behind for the corner. End-to-end stuff. Bodies up here for this Burnley corner. Can they extend their lead? Right for the delivery from the corner. Fleming was the closest, but headed away by Ahmedhodzic. Chowdhury gets it half clear. Edwards. Roberts gets another chance at it. Connor Roberts. Cleared away. Anthony was battling, but cleared away by Sheffield United. And held up well by Harmer, who has the space. And look at the pass. And look at the space here for Kiefer Moore. It's 3-on-2. Brereton Diaz's shots. Toe poked well away from goal. The angle was closed down, but they had the man advantage there, the Blades. And they were as blunt as ever. Lovely arrowed ball by Gus Harmer. Beautiful little touch. Finds Kiefer Moore. Lays it off to Brereton Diaz. And the space was closed down by Maxime Esteve and CJ Egan Riley, but that has to be so much better than that from Brereton Diaz. So much better. Well over the bar. But another opportunity goes down the drain for Sheffield United and their players. You're not giving many an opportunity against Burnley. When you're given them, you have to take them. Scored against Cardiff, did Brereton Diaz, the second goal on Good Friday. His last away goal was away at QPR back in March. Wants to add to the tally, but missed his effort there. As the Burnley ownership watch on. 35 minutes or so to go. Burnley get the... Sheffield United get the goal kick. Alan Pace, the Burnley owner, watching on. Keenly. He knows that in just over a half an hour's time, if the scoreline stays the same, his task of getting Burnley back to the Premier League would be complete. Lovely ball towards the box there, towards Brereton Diaz from Sheffield United. Kiefer Moore using his physicality, but again, a little bit too physical with Josh Brownhill, and Brownhill wins the free kick. Kiefer Moore not happy with the decision against him, but it is a foul. So it is. Fleming takes it down nicely, finds Edwards on the spin. Marcus Edwards gives it out wide. Roberts with a cross towards Fleming, cleared away by Akmanodzic again. Nicely taken down by Moore, who's brought down there. And Cullen was the one that committed the foul, I believe, on that occasion. The referee just has to sort a few things out and get Sheffield United the free kick here. Thanks for your comments there in the chat. I'm not too sure about your prediction about Arsenal going to win the league. Not too sure about that. As Hamza Chowdhury fouled there by Hannibal. He's been fouled 5 times. That's the first one he's committed. Well, Burnley are the in-form side in the Championship. Won 5 of their last 6 games. Conceded only 3 goals. 16 points out of the last possible 18. Swansea and Bristol City are also up there with the form table. Sheffield United in 9th in the form table. 3 wins and 3 draws in their last 6 games coming into this one. Oh, sorry, 3 wins and 3 defeats, sorry. Coming into this one. 9 points from a possible 18. Leeds actually in 4th in the form table, 12 points from their last 18 available. 3 wins and 3 draws. Leeds and Burnley, crucially though, the only 2 sides unbeaten in the last 6. That's why they are where they are and pulling away from the rest of the pack. When the business end approaches, you have to separate yourself from the rest, and that's what Leeds and Burnley have done. And that's why, as it stands, they will be promoted. Lovely ball in behind. Sheffield United might have a say about that. Brereton Diaz didn't get the chance to get the shot off cleanly, but it's put behind for a corner. See this again. Lovely ball over the top. Brereton Diaz makes the run in behind Anthony, takes it down, chests it, and as he has the shot, it's kind of deflected off a few Burnley players. I think it might be Perez and Anthony that collide with that. And it ends up going for the Burnley corner, or for the Sheffield United corner from a Burnley player, apologies. And a corner to Sheffield United here. And they're going to make a double change before this corner, actually. The visitors. Tyrese Campbell is going to come on, sorry. So Ben Brereton Diaz and Tom Cannon are the 2 coming off for Sheffield United. Tom Cannon, who's got the goal for Sheffield United in this one. Tyrese Campbell is 1 coming off, or 1 coming on. And Yezurin Raksaki is also coming on. So Raksaki and Campbell on, Brereton Diaz and Cannon off. Changes in the front line for Sheffield United. As Harrison Burrows is over this corner on the right hand side as we hit the hour mark inside Turf Moor. Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1. Let's see what this delivery holds. Burrows, left-footed delivery into the box, deep to the back post, headed away by Brownhill. Still alive though, again away by Brownhill. And Harmer has to just send that one back towards his keeper to ensure Sheffield United keep the possession. Burrows. There's no change in system for Sheffield United. They did change 2 personnel, but no tactical changes. Still 4-4-2 that they have started the game with. Just be a straight swap up front. Campbell trying to run off Esteve here. Esteve does well at battling Tyrese Campbell and getting the goal kick. See it again. Nice run by Campbell in behind. Esteve stayed with him and just kind of shoulder barged him. It's a fair challenge. Yeah, fair defending that from Maxime Esteve. And Sheffield United made 2 changes. Burnley are going to make a change of their own here. It's going to see Josh Laurent come on. And it's going to be Marcus Edwards, I believe, that is coming off. So Josh Laurent replacing Marcus Edwards. At the moment, Josh Brownhill is the man that is getting Burnley back to the Premier League. His 2 goals are the difference between winning and losing, quite literally. Dan Fleming trying to flick it on. They kind of just lost their way in possession a little bit, Burnley, in the last 5 minutes or so. Which is maybe why Scott Parker made that substitution, just to give them a little bit more quality. A little bit more quality in midfield, really. To slightly tweak things a little bit. To help his team out a little bit more. Raksaki, lovely ball round the corner. Nice one for Campbell to chase. The 2 subs linking up there for Sheffield United. And Campbell knew he wasn't going anywhere. And won the throw-in off Jadon Anthony there. On the far right side. Jack Robinson's eyeing up another one of these long throws. This time from the right side. Body's in the box. Let's see what Robinson can do. Goes with a long throw in. Flicked on. Bouncing about. Raksaki brings it down on the left side. Can he find a way through? Nice 1-2 with Peck. Peck across! And it was Ahmed Odzic that was in there. And he was bettered by Maxime Esteve, who got the block in. 2 centre-backs involved there. And Esteve got the clean connection to put it out for the throw. On the far side, that was close. Here's another throw. Another long one from Robinson, coming from the left side now. Look at the launch. Well, it's a easy, calm catch for James Trafford in the middle. Pressure on Michael Cooper here as the ball went all the way back to the Sheffield United keeper. Chowdhury a little bit caught here by Zen Fleming. A loose touch by Raksaki. Saw Fleming thump it back to his goalkeeper, who returns the favour, thumps it forward. Again, well brought down by Sheffield United. They've lost their way a little bit in possession, Burnley. Just a little bit. Combination down the left side here for the visitors. Peck trying to spin. Spun into a challenge, and Burnley have it back now, looking to break away with Jadon Anthony, but not much room to be found there. Harmer has it back now for Sheffield United. 25 minutes to go. Sheffield United responding well in this second half. Remember, a win for Burnley would promote both Burnley and Leeds. A draw would promote Leeds. And a Sheffield United win would promote nobody. Vincent ball away from Hannibal by Robinson, but caught there was Finishes Souza, and Hannibal gets the better of him, and he's got a breakdown right hand side here. Hannibal across, blocked well. He'll get up and do it again. Still got the ball, Hannibal. Cut back by Roberts. Here's Laurent. Back to Hannibal again. Bodies in the box for Burnley. Hannibal squares it across to Fleming, whose effort didn't really have much pace behind it, and caught easily there by Michael Cooper in the Sheffield United goal. Chowdhury down the right hand side to Raksaki. Jezerin Raksaki run into Perez there, but the foul's been given against Lucas Perez, and a yellow card he's going to get as well for that challenge. Yeah, gotta say, Perez thought he could win the ball and just caught the man. Yeah, good spot by the referee. And Lucas Perez gets himself a 7th yellow card of the season. Looks like there's some more movement from the Sheffield United bench as well here, as they wait to take this free kick, as their fans in that corner celebrate, or support them anyway, singing along. Free kick whipped in, but it's a waste of a chance from Harrison Burrows. Overhit, goal kick, and they've gone quiet again. Well, a shot of the Sheffield United fans at the moment. Not particularly noisy. They were for a second in that free kick, but the execution of that free kick certainly silenced them. Perez, well won back, finding Laurent. Space down the right side here for Laurent. Feeds it out wide to Roberts. Now back to Josh Laurent. Rolled on for Hannibal Mabry down the right flank. Battling with Robinson. Mabry holds on to the ball well. Nice give and go there between the Burnley players. Cullen. Hannibal again. Egan Riley. Hannibal. Back to Josh Cullen. Much better from Burnley. Esteve. Cross now to Lucas Perez. Has to turn it back to James Trafford. He won't get his 29th clean sheet of the season, or Burnley won't get their 30th here this evening. But they still have 2 games to try and reach that one. As Esteve's ball was darted out wide, it was kept in by Hannibal. Just over 20 minutes to go now. Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1. Winning you're in is the catchphrase here for Burnley. They win and they're back in the Premier League, as will Leeds will join them. A draw would only send Leeds back tonight, with Burnley having to wait until at least next weekend. That would be what a draw would do. Hamza Chowdhury. Raksaki. Chowdhury again. Inside to Peck, who spins on the ball well. Finds Jezerin Raksaki. Trying to dribble towards the box. Raksaki lifts it round the back. Bounce the ball. Oh, almost fed back into the mix there from Egan Riley, but cleared away now. Hannibal forced it down the right side. There's still space. Laurent keeps it in play, and look at the gap he's got down that right side. Laurent's cross comes off. Vinicius Souza. Will be a corner to Burnley. Risk, reward. And the risks Sheffield United have to take, I might see them caught out at the other end. They're losing. They have to try and win this game. They've already got the banners out. I would relax a little bit. Still 20 minutes. You're not quite Premier League just yet. Corner for Burnley, right hand side. Well, the score here, it would be all but certain, surely. 2-1, anything's still possible. Right footed corner, flicked in. Zion Fleming brought down, cleared away. Still alive. Shot from distance there from Perez, but cleared away once again. And now City Peck, sorry, trying to keep it in play against Josh Brownhill. Felt it was fouled there. Not giving any of that. Just a throw into Burnley. Sheffield United want to eye up some more changes. It's Femi Siriki and Sam McCallum that are the two waiting to enter the fray here for Sheffield United. Not going to quite make those substitutions yet, I feel. No, it's just going to be a throw into Burnley here. Lucas Perez then. 1-2 with Brownhill. The ball had crossed the sideline from Brownhill's return ball. Throw into Sheffield United. And are they now going to make the subs? Not yet. A bit strange. They're waiting. I don't know what they're waiting for. Clock's running down. You're running out of time every second that you don't make those subs, but don't know. Strange. Ahmedhodzic back to Cooper. Robinson. 18 minutes remain for Sheffield United to keep this alive. A defeat would end their hopes of automatic promotion and automatically promote Leeds and Burnley. Here's Jesuin Raksaki trying to dribble his way through. Well cut out well by Josh Cullen there. Throw in down the right side here for Sheffield United. Throw in by Chowdhury. Souza keeps it alive, finds Chowdhury inside to Jesuin Raksaki. Just lost the ball there. Here's Zion Fleming. Skips away from his defender and Ahmedhodzic, who brings him down eventually. And he's going to get a free kick there, Fleming. And I think Ahmedhodzic goes unpunished. He does. Surprised that's not a yellow card. Considering the yellow cards we've seen tonight, or this evening, we're in between day and night at the minute. Yeah, it looked like a yellow card to me. It's definitely a foul anyway. And definitely a Burnley free kick. Are they going to make these substitutions eventually? I mean, they've had the two players standing there for about 2.5-3 minutes now. They are. So Vinicius Souza's coming off. He's been replaced by Femi Siriki. And the second substitution is going to see Harrison Burrows replaced by Sam McCallum. So Souza and Burrows off, and McCallum and Siriki on for Sheffield United. Remember, Sheffield United, the last time they were promoted to the Premier League, obviously back in that 2019-20 season, 2018-19 season, sorry, they finished second behind Norwich City that season. Hold on a moment. Coming down the left side, that ball is awful from Sam McCallum there. The last time they were promoted, they also finished second, so it's not been one of those that's really gone their way. Remember, the last time they were in the playoffs was in the 21-22 season. They finished 5th in the league. They went to the playoffs that season, and we all know what way that ended up. They got put out at the semi-finals. Of course, it was a Huddersfield-Nottingham Forest final. Nottingham Forest, of course, won promotion that season from the playoffs. Fulham and Bournemouth both went up that campaign. And funnily enough, it was a Bournemouth side under Scott Parker that finished second that season and went up to the Premier League. History might be repeating itself again then. Scott Parker, an absolute master of promotion from the Championship. Done it with Fulham, done it with Bournemouth, and now he looks like he's going to do it with Burnley. An absolute masterclass. Not done yet though. Long throw into the box, flicked on, bouncing around, still alive here for Sheffield United, but not anymore as it's cleaned away by Laurent. And he's going to run down the left channel and does keep it in play, but doesn't keep possession for Sheffield United. Given back, Chowdhury, Peck, McCallum. Right, Harmer, thumping it forward, headed away by Esteve, and up in the air there from Perez, far from convincing, my goodness. Turned back into his own box, and Esteve has a bit of a task on his hands. The ball across. Burnley making a real struggle of clearing that ball, but Cullen does really well. The experience comes out on top. Hannibal linking up with Zion Fleming. Fleming across. Look at the space now for Burnley. They've got out of that little bit of trouble. And now Brownhill finds it to Anthony. Shot blocked. Handball called. Not given by the referee. Here's Josh Cullen drifting into the box. Out wide it goes to Jaden Anthony. Rolls it in behind for Cullen. Cullen with a cutback into the box. Hammers there to intercept. And now trying to get Sheffield United forward with something. Harmer, long clearance. Sends the chase for Tyrese Campbell. It was well won by Esteve. And Burnley settle themselves once again. Long ball over the top here though. Just too much. Too much on that one. Too much for Connor Roberts to chase. 12 minutes to go then. Plus additional time. And Hannibal's gone down. And he's going to be taken off anyway. So they'll have a good check-up on Hannibal. He's given us all to this game. And credit to him, he's done fantastically well. Won the penalty, which Josh Brownhill scored. That at the moment would be securing promotion for Burnley. He's massively played his part here, Hannibal. And he's going to be replaced by Jeremy Sarmiento for Burnley. Gets a big hug from his manager there, Scott Parker, as he comes off the field, Hannibal. And Jeremy Sarmiento replaces him. The Ecuadorian scored 2 championship goals this season, Jeremy Sarmiento. Not since Coventry in November has he scored. And Portsmouth in September. Both coming at home though. Remember, I'll just give you a quick peek at the table. It's been a whole half since we last looked at the league table. Leeds and Burnley would be promoted as it stands. 94 points apiece at the top for those two. The title race will still go on for the final 2 games of the season to see who will get the joy of being crowned Championship champions. And Sheffield United would be destined for the playoffs, along with Sunderland, who are also confirmed for playoffs. Bristol City and Coventry not confirmed just yet, but they're in the top 6. So, that's the way that stands. Unless something can change. Long ball into the box here from Sheffield United. They're scrambling for everything. They're going to be given a foul there in the box, or actually offside, apologies, against Sheffield United. So a free kick to Burnley. Remember, if Sheffield United equalise, Leeds will still be promoted, but Burnley wouldn't be tonight. Yeah, he's just offside there. Ahmed Odzic. As Ryan Brewster's going to be the next to enter the fray for Sheffield United. And he will be the last one to enter the fray. And he's just going to throw everything at this now. is Chris Wilder. What have they got to lose? City Peck's coming off and Ryan Brewster's coming on, so a midfielder off for an attacker. Can they find someone, Sheffield United, that can equalise and keep them within the slimmest of chances, but still with a mathematical chance of automatic promotion? It would be Burnley they would be stopping if they drew. It would be Burnley they would be trying to catch if they drew. Because Leeds, even with a draw between these two, would still be going up. But the records, the stats, everything backs Burnley to do it. That's what the stats read. Sheffield United do not know what a win at Turf Moor feels like in the Championship, whether it be in the playoffs or in the normal regular season. 5 previous visits, and they've lost all 5 in the Championship. Incredible. But is that to be changed tonight, that record? They've never picked up a point at Turf Moor in the Championship, have Sheffield United. We haven't picked up anything out of them in any game in the last 4 meetings, Premier League or Championship, between the sides. Long shot from distance. Well clear of any threat there from Gus Harmer. He was always going to hit one. He's got the quality to find the net from those positions, but not on that occasion. The accuracy was left lacking. Very rarely from him that that's the case. Burnley haven't lost a Championship game since they lost away at Millwall in early November. They lost 1-0 at the Den. Before that, they had lost away at Sunderland in early August. Only 2 defeats this season Burnley have faced. 30 games unbeaten in a row. Their only defeat in any competition since early November was in a FA Cup defeat away at Preston, where they lost 3-0 at the start of March. That's their only defeat since early November. They've won a total since that defeat to Preston. They've won 7 of the last 9 games, only dropping points away at Derby and at home to West Brom. They've won every other game. Cardiff, Luton, Swansea, Bristol City, Coventry, Norwich, Watford, and could Sheffield United be adding their name to that list? Or will they change the fortunes? It's only 1 goal of a difference. Draw and you're not there just yet. Win and you're in. That's what these next 6 minutes plus the additional time will mean. Stev clears it away. Brownhill flicks it on for Fleming, but well, retrieved back Minodzic, and now Robinson gives it wide to McCallum. Inside it goes. A reminder for you, Premier League action coming up very shortly tonight. 8 o'clock, Tottenham against Nottingham Forest. 8 o'clock kickoff from the Premier League. We'll be live from 10 to 8 for that one. Here's Raksaki. Cross in from Sariki. Cleared away from Anthony. But it will be a throw in to Sheffield United. There's still time. Very much so. And Femi Sariki will actually give this throw in. Of course he will, to Jack Robinson for the long throw. They believe so deeply in the long throw. And certainly the long throw of Jack Robinson. Can it come up trumps for Sheffield United when they need it the most? Long throw. Bouncing around. Cleared away. Flicked on by McCallum. And then thumped up the pitch for Burnley, just to get anywhere away from their goal. But Sheffield United trying to apply as much pressure as they can. And Chowdhury beaten on the ball here. No foul. There might be a move on here for Burnley. Shoved to the ground, but no foul again, says the referee, as Sheffield United win it back. Long kick forward. Header won by Perez, and Anthony will feed that back into Cullen in midfield, who is brought down and fouled by Ryan Brewster, and a free kick will go Burnley's way. Clock continues to tick down. They might want to add another couple of bodies to the action here, Burnley. Looks like Ashley Barnes is going to be one of those that's getting ready. And Joe Worrell is also going to be trying to enter the fray here in a moment. Two very experienced players. There's no one more experienced than Ashley Barnes. He rejoined Burnley just at the start of this year. As Ian Fleming gets a foul given against him, against Akmanodzic, and for Akmanodzic, sorry, and free kick for Sheffield United. Two changes to come here for Burnley in a moment. Ashley Barnes and, of course, Joe Worrell are getting ready. So Josh Brownhill is coming off. He will be the man that would seal it. If they stay as it is, his 2 goals would send Burnley back to the Premier League. The first one, a little bit of opportunism, right place, right time. And the second one, calmness, composure from the penalty spot to give Burnley the lead for the second time in the game. Josh Brownhill, the difference at this minute in time. Incredible. And Ian Fleming's going to make way as well. So Ashley Barnes and Joe Worrell on, replacing Josh Brownhill and Ian Fleming. Let's wait and see as the cheers ring around the crowd for those substitutions. 2 minutes of normal time, plus any sort of additional time remain. That's what separates Burnley from their dreams and hopes for this season. Unless Sheffield United can dash them at the last seconds into the box. Still alive, Raksaki. Can't get a real stretch on the ball. Suriki lays it round to Chowdhury, sorry, out wide to McCallum. Everybody's in the box for Burnley. Lifted ball in. Akmanodzic gets a flick on. It's still alive. Suriki couldn't get any contact to it, and cleared away by Jaden Anthony. But pressure will be applied again from the Blades. Robinson, Hammer, try to force it, bit loose. Hammer though finds the outstretched ball from Jaden Anthony. Suriki down the right side. Raksaki spins away from his man into the box. Well covered over. Long thumping clearance away again from Ashley Barnes, who was in there. I knew it was him. Cleared it away. Defending part of his CV as well. Last minute of the 90. Is it only a matter of time, or can Sheffield United have a final say? Cleared away. Hammer steps away from one challenge, feeds it wide, just a little short to McCallum. And now they're trying to break away Burnley, but the player that tried to break forward just lost his balance. Still alive. Hammer down the left channel. McCallum thuds one into the box. Cleared away. Half cleared by Egan Riley. Suriki. Another ball lifted in towards the box, but that bounce completely beats Sheffield United, and it will drop for Burnley for a goal kick. 6 added minutes. That's what separates Burnley from the promised land. And that's what separates Sheffield United from playoffs. That's where their seasons will lie if it stays the way it is. Scott Parker not letting anything get in his way at the moment. The nerves jangling Even Alan Pace can't set a piece. He is shaking his leg. A nervous tick. The nerves of anticipation of what might come in less than 5 minutes' time. They watch on at Elland Road. The players done their job earlier today. 6-0 winners against Stoke. They will erupt. Unless Sheffield United get 2 goals in 5 minutes, Leeds are guaranteed promotion. But Burnley need to hold on to win to secure it for themselves. It will be a magic moment across the Midlands tonight. Burnley fans, Leeds fans alike will celebrate, unless anything can still happen here. Raksaki not given any time or space by Perez. Still alive though, the youngster. Raksaki dribbling beautifully. Sariki into the box. Not cleared away. Sariki picks it up again. Ahmedodzic now. Wide to Chowdhury. Steps past Anthony. Ahmedodzic to whip one across. Header is over the bar by Sam McCallum. 4 minutes remain. Yeah, Sam McCallum. The header was never on target. James Trafford was doing push-ups with the crossbar there as that one went sailing over the top. The crowd now starting to believe it's done. They're still biting their nails. They're still awaiting that final whistle. Sheffield United haven't given up yet. They could spoil the Burnley party if they get an equalising goal, but it would surely only be delaying the inevitable. That's probably all they could do. But is there one last chance left in Sheffield United? There's 3 minutes for them to find it. Long ball over the top. McCallum making a nuisance of himself, but cleared away again by Burnley. 3 straight headers. And Barnes holds it up and gets brought down and wins a free kick. Look at the experience of Ashley Barnes. The 35-year-old, who's number 35 for Burnley, wins them a late free kick. That's what experience gets you. In those moments, winning you a free kick to eke out every single precious second of the clock that remains. It's just going to fall short, it seems, of Sheffield United again. They have never been able to beat off the old adage that playoffs remain for them. It's never been successful before. If they want to be Premier League again, the Blades, it's going to have to be successful this season. 2 minutes of the 6 added remain. There is still time for something else to happen, but it's whether it will happen. They've had a whole half of football to do it. Will it come down to the last couple of seconds? Perez with a half clearance. Brought down by Kiefer Moore. And stolen away from him by Sarmiento, who lays it off inadvertently to Josh Cullen, who gets blocked by Gus Hammer, who's doing his defending out there. And Laurent trying to cause a nuisance and wins Burnley a throw down the right side. Only 90 seconds or less remain. Get ready for an eruption. I'm sure and certain there will be one, both at Elland Road and here at Turf Moor. This is the moment these two have been waiting for all season. 44 games in the making. Hands clasped together, waiting for that anticipated moment. From David Webb, the referee. Sheffield United have a throw. 30 seconds remain. Long throw into the midfield. Bouncing around a bit of head tennis. And again won by Burnley. Look at the breakthrough here, and another free kick. One by Josh Cullen. And Ryan Brewster this time giving it away. And Ryan Zero says, you're extremely good at commentary, brother. What does it mean for Leeds United, this result? It means Leeds will be promoted too, along with Burnley. If Burnley win, the top two will be promoted in a few seconds' time. Brewster gets a yellow card. 6 minutes are up at Turf Moor. Is time up for Sheffield United's chance to claim an automatic promotion place? The crowd clapping along, the owner clapping along. All that's waiting is the final whistle from David Webb. When will it come? The free kick for Burnley here. Surely it's one kick away. They believe it at Ellen Road. They're already celebrating. But the final whistle hasn't gone yet. There it is now. Burnley and Leeds United are back in the big time. Sheffield United fall at the final hurdle. And Leeds and Burnley are back up amongst the top table in English football. They have been waiting for such a long time for that to be the case. Burnley back at the first time of asking. Leeds back after a couple of years. They missed out so horribly last season. But this season is their season. And Leeds and Burnley will be joining the Premier League faithful, flying that illustrious flag above their stadiums next season. All that hard work and effort paying off. With 2 games to spare, Leeds and Burnley are promoted back to the Premier League. 94 points for both teams is too much for Sheffield United's 86. They're going to have to do it through the playoffs, or the Blades. But the Clarets and the Whites are already there. And they're back at the top. They're already celebrating with champagne, drowning the Leeds players at Ellen Road. They done their job. 6-0 winners earlier this afternoon. And Burnley reply with a little bit of a helping hand to Leeds to get it done today. And they do get it done. Leeds are done. Burnley have it done. And Sheffield United and their players not happy. Some scenes that we don't want to see there. But not let that tarnish this moment. Scott Parker, what a man. An absolute championship masterclass. First time of asking with Fulham. First time of asking with Bournemouth. And first time of asking with Burnley. The ultimate hat-trick of promotions for Scott Parker. And Daniel Farker, he's been here and done it before with Norwich quite a number of times. And now he's done it with Leeds. 2 institutions of Burnley and Leeds that deserve to be back at the top table. And they are. Hamza Chowdhury has absolutely gone off. Something has happened. I think Jadon Anthony and some of the Burnley players are celebrating, which has upset Hamza Chowdhury for whatever reason. Emotions flying high, of course, and riding high. As Scott Parker hugs friends, family, and loved ones. That's what this moment means. Emotions the most. Incredible moment. Incredible moment for Leeds and Burnley. And what a man Scott Parker is. What a job to do. A damaged and beaten football club at the end of last season. And he's turned it around and got them back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. A club that deserves it. And they have got it back within their grasp again. Incredible. Absolutely wonderful. And it's great to just witness this moment, you know. Albeit we see it every season, but every single season it means so much to everybody. And all these players and their families and all the hard work they put in. It's, as I said, 44 games in the making. Every hard challenge, every hard bit of defending they've had to do. Everything that's not gone their way. It's all been outweighed by the effort and the dedication that these players make to getting promotion, and Leeds and Burnley are back there. Incredible. Congratulations to both football clubs, Leeds and Burnley. They're back in the big time, and that's where we're heading next. Quite ironically, that's where we're heading next then. Tottenham against Nottingham Forest is our next feature to end our Easter weekend coverage here at LFS. We hope you can join us then. But for Leeds and Burnley, it's back to the big time again, and they're back at the top table. Leeds and Burnley have been promoted automatically anyway at the top two. The title race is still on, still 2 games for that to be decided, but they'll both be buzzing and celebrating tonight that they're back at the top.